The following non-nominated, non-award-winning program is rated D for dumb.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Hello everybody, Dave Canyon here. Welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave. We're going to dumb it down together. You ready to ride shotgun with me? Come on, let's do it. Fantastic, today's date. Although they tell me not to say it, so the show always sounds evergreen. Not that I really care. It is February 23rd. February 23rd, 11:08 in the morning. I am on, I just was on I-81 southbound, and now I'm going to be on I-80 westbound in Pennsylvania. I am traveling between my hometown in upstate New York and Penn Creek. It's either Penn or Penns, P-E-N-N, or add an S. I think it's Penn Creek, Pennsylvania. And then later today I'm going to Trenton, New Jersey. And then after that, I think I'm going to like near New Brunswick, New Jersey, to the Red Carpet Inn, where I will put my head down and hopefully fall asleep. Anyway, yeah, I am on my way to Penn Creek, Pennsylvania, to a store, a parts store. Really, Dave? That's a long way. It's a 3-hour trip. What? It's called JC Specialties. JC, the letter J. The letter C, Specialties, and that is where I will be possibly purchasing. I'm definitely picking up some go-kart parts. Go-kart parts for Dave's Fit Life Go-Kart. As some of you know, I do Dumbing It Down with Dave, the podcast. I also do Dave's Fit Life, the YouTube channel, where I used to live in a Fit, then I upgraded to a Dodge Caravan, but I try to get fit, stay fit, and fit things into my life. And one of the things I've tried to fit in my life is go-kart racing. It's been a dream of mine ever since I was a child who had the consciousness to be aware of the fact there was something called auto racing. And that's what I've been wanting to do for a long time. I wanted to do it, of course, like everybody else, professionally, and be a famous worldwide, well-respected race car driver like Speed Racer from the cartoon. I would have settled for Racer X too. I would have liked to have been a mysterious masked racer. That would have been nice. But it would have been exciting, and all that. A little privacy. Could walk the streets without my mask. Nobody know who I am, but I'm in the car. I am the masked racer. He was very good. In fact, he was Speed Racer's older brother, which, Speed had suspected for a long time. Dave, are we going to go down Cartoon Alley today? Is this what we're going to do? No, I'm just giving you the background of Dave Canyon's mind, and now I'm giving you a little bit of a background of Little David back in the day. How did he become a racing fan? Yeah, well, it helps to have Speed Racer on the TV. And by the way, he could fight. He traveled. He had a family that loved him and supported him. He had a little brother who was mischievous, and his little brother had a monkey. A chimpanzee, Chim Chim, C-H-I-M, Chim, short for chimpanzee, I guess. Chim Chim, chimpanzee. So, and Spritle was the younger brother who always would stow away with Speed Racer in the trunk. Somehow he knew how to get into the trunk, even though this Mach 5 was the most incredible racing car ever developed by his father, Pops, right? His father loved him. He loved his father. Although he would always, they'd always be at odds because Pops felt, really, we are totally going down, Cartoon Alley. But alley, I don't even know what that means, alley. But A-L-L-E-Y. Cartoon Road, whatever. Cartoon Archives, doesn't really matter. But they were always at odds because Pops felt that Speed Racer was too young. And he knew, Pops, that his older brother, I forget what his older brother's name was, crashed because he wanted to race at a young age. Crashed his car. Pops got angry at him on the track in front of everybody, in front of all the people in the stands and probably people on TV. And Rex, I think his name was Rex. And he ran away. He said, I'll show you, Dad. I'll become the greatest race car driver ever. And he ran away. So Rex Racer, great last name for a family that is in the auto racing business. You know, it's like the Storm family, who's been doing the weather in New York City for as long as I can remember. Stormfield, Frank, not the Storm family, the Field family. Field? Yeah, Stormfield, Rainfield, I don't remember. Anyway, it was the Field family. But his name was Storm. Stormfield. Eyewitness News, New York City, back in the 70s and 80s. Anyway, I think that was his name. Makes sense to me. And then we had Tracy or Victoria Snow. Listen, you know, rain, snow, storm, wind. You're probably going to end up as a meteorologist. If you name your child, you know, Mercedes or something like that, they'll become a stripper. Or Heather, right? But you give them a weather-related name, they'll probably gravitate to weather-related fame and fortune, subjects like that. And you're guaranteed they'll be a weatherman. Anyway, but Stormfield's father was Frank Field. So it's, you know, not exactly Frank, not exactly a weatherman's name, unless your last name is Field. All right, so how did we get on Speed Racer? Because I'm going to a go-kart store, and yeah, it's always been a dream of mine. Plus, my mother would always get me Matchbox cars. Every time we go, you know, anywhere, we'd be on Church Avenue with the bus. We'd be on Church Avenue in Brooklyn. Look it up. It's a long, long avenue. It's one lane each way. A lot of shopping. Big commercial avenue, Church Avenue. And we go from East New York, Brownsville. I think it was really one or the other. It was either East New York or Brownsville. I guess you can call it East New York, Brownsville. That was the community in which I lived in these apartments called 1381 Linden Boulevard. Dave, now we're going to go down the road that in which you lived in, literally go down the road, the avenue, the boulevard. Yes, Linden Boulevard. Yes, we're going down where I lived as a child. I'm giving you all this background. Why? Because a lot of people don't know who I am. This is episode 326, and I think it's about time you met me. Wow. Yes. Hello, how are you? I'm Dave Canyon. Welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave, a show about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. And occasionally we go down Cartoon Alley / Road Avenue and Boulevard. So yeah, we would get off on Church Avenue if we were coming back from Flatbush Avenue, where there was also tons and tons of shopping back in the day. I wish I had black and white footage. I wish I had all these pictures, but we didn't. You know, I had a 110 camera, but it was expensive back in the day to take a picture. It was. It took a long time to develop film. When we had more patience, you had to send it out via Photomat or via a Kodak store, which there was in my town of Canarsie, Brooklyn, when I moved after the first grade. Now we're going to go down this other part of your life, Dave. Holy cow. When are we going to get to it? People want to know, when are you going to get to it? All right. Well, I think there's a reason why I'm doing all this, and it was actually accidental. This show I'm going to call Uncle. Not Cry Uncle, not Uncle Dave, just Uncle. I'm going to call it Uncle, ! And there's a reason for that, because I had a good week. I had a good week being an uncle. That's what I did this week. I was a brother-in-law, I was a husband, but I was mostly an uncle. And it was a good time. And I guess maybe, you know, the powers that be, or God, or who's ever in charge of the things that come out of my mouth and the thoughts that go into my head that somehow, you know, come out my mouth and all that, has directed me towards this particular way of starting the show, as we are almost 10 minutes in, and a lot of you will say, again, 10 minutes in, he's doing an icebreaker, he said nothing. No, I'm telling you that growing up in East New York / Brownsville, taking the bus to and from Flatbush Avenue or Brighton Beach or Coney Island or anywhere, we would get off at Church Avenue, and there was a store called Kenny's, Kenneys. No, Barney's. I'm sorry, Kenny's was in Canarsie. Red's was another store. There was Red's, there was Kenny's, and there was Barney's, like Barney's in New York with the clothing. Well, we had a much lower level, much entry level, affordable store called Barney's on Church Avenue. I have no pictures of it. I guess I could look it up on the internet, and maybe I'll have a nice picture. It was like a Woolworth. It was like that, but it was Barney's. B-A-R-N-E, I guess, Y''S. And he owned it. I guess I never met him, but we would get off, and Matchbox cars were about $1. And in fact, they had a commercial once upon a time. Matchbox cars, about $1. And there was Matchbox versus, for me, it was versus Hot Wheels. Like Marvel versus DC. Like Pepsi versus Coke. Like McDonald's versus Burger King. Almost anything in the world that you have, there'll be the yin and the yang. And then there's the also-rans, which never seem to catch up. They never seem to be able to do as well, for whatever reason. So anyway, my mother would supplement my auto racing fantasies with these Matchbox cars. And then I would go home and play by myself. Play with myself. I play by myself. I'd be on my floor. I've spoken about this before, on what I would semi-describe as a parquet floor. No, I would describe it totally as a semi-parquet floor, I guess. It wasn't parquet, like the old basketball surface at Celtic Garden or Boston Garden, where the Celtics used to play. Do they still play on a parquet floor? Whatever. So I had this type of floor, and I would be on the floor as much as I could. If I wasn't watching TV, I was playing with my Matchbox cars, my Hot Wheels, my Johnny Lightning, and then eventually, when they trusted me with electricity, my Aurora AFX / Tyco racing cars. Aurora AFX. Yes. So AUO, I guess, RORA, Aurora, whatever that meant. Something, isn't that something astrophysical or something like that? An Aurora? I don't know. So anyway, wow. Yeah. And now, as an adult, last year, 2023, I finally got into a go-kart. And I was able to race at Poughkeepsie Speedway. Unfortunately, my stamina at the age of 60 was poor. I had no idea. It's like all of a sudden, I'm old. I used to be able to get on my bike and ride. I spoke about that here. That I had a moment where I wanted to get in shape last year because I couldn't ride my go-kart because I had no stamina. I could only do a few laps around the 5th mile track, and then I would basically almost pass out because I couldn't breathe. Why? Why can't I breathe? What am I doing that's so strenuous while I'm go-karting around the 5th mile track, except holding onto the steering wheel for dear life, with the G-forces and all that in those turns. I don't know what we're doing, 60, 70 miles an hour, maybe more, maybe less. I don't really have the exact number, but I couldn't breathe. I'd have to pull off after 3 laps. And then I would struggle with what little oxygen I had left in my brain to unstrap my helmet and take it off my head so I could breathe. Man, that was really uncomfortable. I did not anticipate that was going to be an issue. But all of a sudden, I can't breathe. I'm doing something I've been waiting to do all my life, and I can't breathe. And then I said, all right, I'm going to hit it hard. I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to exercise. So, yeah, I went on a diet. I lost a couple of pounds. And then I get on my bicycle that I spent, I don't know how much money to repair it. A bicycle I've had for like 15, 20 years. Some old Italian bicycle from back in the day that used to be like the top bicycle of its time that was handed down to me by yet another one of my ex-friends. That's all I have. I'm one of the few people in the world that has more ex-friends and ex-acquaintances than I do total friends or acquaintances. So maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it feels like. And actually, this guy, yeah, like others, has defriended me, but not because he didn't like me, because he lost his head. He went crazy. He divorced his wife. He moved to Florida from upstate New York. He got remarried, and then a couple of years later, he died. I think he was on drugs. So, yeah, great friend you picked out, Dave. Yeah, that's what I do. I pick out winners. That's all I do. I go out there and I go, which one is the most likely to be upset by me and whatever. You know what I'm talking about? So, I've only been talking about it on this podcast for God knows the last 200 episodes. Yeah, so I am going to this go-kart store. I don't remember what I was just talking about. But I'm going to this store. I'm going to pick up parts for myself. Talk about Speed Racer. Why can't I remember what I was talking about? Oh, okay, yeah. I was talking about the bicycle that this guy gave me. He just gave it to me. It was a nice bicycle back in the day. Italian, I guess. You know, probably still made in China. But it was an Italian bicycle. I don't know where it was made. And I try to get on it so I can start exercising with the bicycle because I spent money to repair it the summer before. And I hadn't been on the bike in about a year. And before that, I hadn't been on the bike for like 5-10 years. It's like ridiculous, the things that I own, the things that I purchase, and then I don't use them. It's really quite ridiculous. And I do this all the time. I got so many things I own and buy that I just never use. Really quite not too intelligent. So I got on this bicycle and I couldn't get out of my neighborhood because there's a hill. I couldn't get up the hill. I told the story. I made a run for it. I was probably in the wrong gear. I made it a third of the way up. I couldn't do it. I turned around. And then I came down the hill. I said, okay, I got momentum. I cruised down the hill. I turned around, tried to go up the hill. I made it halfway. And that time, I was in the right gear. And then that didn't work. So I said, all right, one more time. If I can't get out of this neighborhood, if I can't leave here and go ride a bicycle, a 10-speed bicycle, I shouldn't be riding a bike. I just shouldn't be. And one more time, the third time, not the charm. Not the charm. I couldn't make it out of the neighborhood, so I turned around and I went home. And I parked the bike, and it's been there ever since. The bike's been sitting there almost yet another year, and now I know the brakes got loose somehow. I spent all this money to repair the bike, and now one of the brakes, the front brake or whatever, doesn't work. I have to tighten it up. I keep on putting it on my list, Dave. Research how to repair your own brakes. Because what are you going to do? You're going to bring it back to the store again? You're going to drop it off again in Albany or somewhere? I mean, I could do it where I live, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, really? Oh, man. So, by the way, I'm getting off of I-80 early. I have a long way to go to get to the store, but I saw this road. I'm on Route 11. It says Lime Ridge, Berwick, exit 241. Boy, that's a big number exit. And I'm going to take 11 South. It says here 11 South Lime Ridge. And this is like a local road. So to get a spice, to get a feeling of the flavor of the area, I'd rather be on a local road rather than being on the interstate. So I'm getting off a little bit earlier. It's going to extend my trip probably, 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes to half an hour. I don't know. But now I'm on Route 11, and I'm headed south, and I'm headed towards Penn Creek, Pennsylvania, to the store called JC Specialties. Yeah, so I couldn't ride the bike. I couldn't ride the go-kart. I could announce. I ended up announcing at this go-kart track instead of racing. But even then, I had some issues, with catching my breath. But I did okay. I was strong enough to talk. When am I not strong enough to talk? When am I not strong enough to yell and do a podcast? When I'm tired and I yawn, which I haven't done in a long time. That has been noted. Thank you for noticing that. Where I'm not yawning anymore. I'm quite full of energy, which is great. So this year, I'm pretty sure I'm making pretty much all the things I need to do in order to go-kart. And I want to go to the store. They're having an open house. They haven't had one, I guess, since pre-COVID. And I'm going to go. I'm going to buy some stuff. I don't know, maybe they'll have some racing suits. I'll try them on. Who knows? I'm no longer really a 3XL. That's good. I am no longer a 3XL. Man, when you get to be a large, anybody could be a large, right? Anybody. Medium, small, medium, large. Some people are petite. And if you're petite, you probably never get out of it, right? Because you're petite. And then, I don't know if I was ever petite. When I was a petite little baby, I was petite. But then I stopped being petite a long time ago. And then I got into, medium, husky, whatever, as a child, and then large. And then as an adult, I was like, all of a sudden, large is too small. And I became extra large, right? Like, wow, extra large. Holy cow, what's happening? I went from a 30 to a 34 to a 38 waist. And then you become extra large. Whoa, X? Holy cow. What is that? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Well, it's not healthy, but I became an extra large. Then I became a 2XL. I'm like, holy cow, a 2XL. I'm out of control. Why don't I just stop eating? because you're hungry, because you're tired, because you're sick, because you eat the wrong food, you dummy. Why doesn't somebody set you straight? Yeah, everybody's setting you straight, but you don't pay attention, or you just really don't care. Rad's Fish and Rib House and Home Cooking. Wow, that looks delicious. I wish I could stop there. I wish I had the time. On Route 11, somewhere here in Pennsylvania. Rad's, wow, that looked good. Anyway, I love these local roads. This is the way to travel, man. Local roads. So then eventually, I buy this racing jacket, because you got to wear a fire retardant racing suit, according to the rules, just in case. And I bought a 2XL, because that's the size I've been. 2XL. Why are you yelling, Dave? Stop it. Nobody likes it when you yell. Oh, all right. Is that 20 minutes? I think that's 20 minutes. 21 minutes. So maybe I'll do a half hour today. The other day I did a 45-minute show. I enjoyed it. So if I'm going to do a 45-minute show, somewhere about the 24-minute mark, I got to stop it, because apparently Spreaker runs mid-roll. I opted in for mid-roll. There's going to be some commercials. By the way, thank you for listening to the commercials at the beginning and the middle and the end, if you could. I get a couple of pennies every time. And every couple of months, I get a check for $11. $11. I'm a professional podcaster. You're not listening to some amateur operation. This is the professional, the podcast, .001 Productions of Dumbing It Down with Dave. So anyway, yeah. So I was a 2XL. And then, so I ordered this jacket, but it wouldn't fit. It wouldn't fit. So I ordered a 3XL from the same place I'm going to now. And they sent me a jacket, but it didn't fit any bigger, any better than the 2XL. And when you took the jackets out side by side and sized them up, it was basically the same jacket, except one had a 3XL tag, and the other one had a 2XL tag. But they were the same size. And I called them up. I said, hey, you just sent me a 3XL, and it says 3XL. You did pick the right item, but it's the same size. It's no bigger. I don't understand. How did that happen? They said, don't worry about it. Send it back. We'll give you a refund. And I was like, I don't want a refund. I want a jacket that fits me. What are you going to send me? Another 3XL? How much shipping am I going to pay for? I didn't yell at them on the phone. I said it in my head. So in my head, where I do all my thinking, some of you do your head in other parts of your body. I'm pretty smart. I've decided to do the thinking in my head. So I said, I'm just going to hold on to this jacket, because eventually I'll fit it, right? Right? Eventually I'll lose the weight, and it'll be I'll have two. I'll have a 2XL and a 3XL, and they'll both fit me the right way. And I'm not going to return it. Well, the 2XL, I wore it, and then I split it in half up the back. I think I posted a picture of it once. I split it right up the middle. So now I only have the 3XL, but it's not any bigger. But it fits me now, because I lost, what did we say last week? 45 pounds. By the way, today's weigh-in Friday, and I didn't box this week. I had family over, so I didn't box. Why am I going to call this show Uncle? You're not even talking about what happened. No, I am. I'm leading up to it. So, so I'm going to go to this store, and I'm going to get some stuff maybe for me, or I'm going to try on some stuff if they have stuff that I could try. Let's see where I fit now. What size I'm in. Oh, look at this motel. Relax Inn. That's not a chain. RELAX. Relax Inn on Route 11. Could have stayed there, I guess, right? So it looks like a nice motel and probably affordable. I'm going to, try on some gloves, maybe a helmet. I don't know what I'm going to get. It's an open house, and they say they're giving away prizes, What kind of a prize am I going to get? Like a sticker? Who knows? T-shirt? Who knows? So, and then tonight I'm going to the races. I'm going to the indoor, the Cure, C-U-R-E, the Cure Arena. I'm going to the Cure Arena in Trenton, New Jersey. It's the nicest building in all of Trenton. Trenton has really been through some hard times over the years, like Newark. But anyway, so I'm going to go to the indoor races. They put all this dirt down on the floor. Sometimes they put down Coke syrup. In this particular instance, they put down some dirt, and these race cars, these very small race cars, not RC cars, they're bigger than go-karts. They're smaller than other cars, sprint cars they call them. Anyway, that's where I'm going tonight. All right, so Uncle, with 5 minutes to go in the half hour. Why am I calling this show Uncle? Because that's what I did this week. My nephew came up with his mom. my sister-in-law, and we had a great week. We had a really, really great week, and we had a lot of fun. Oh, I should stop talking. Let me stop talking. Maybe they'll run a commercial. Okay. If they already ran the commercial, then I did it twice, and whatever. So somehow that they have a system. They know when you stop talking, and they interject the commercial. So maybe I did it for nothing. Doesn't matter. So we're back now. Thank you for listening to the commercial. I forgot. I didn't look at the clock. I didn't have my glasses on. I didn't realize when it was 24 minutes. And we had a great time, man. We talked, man. We talked and talked and talked. We talked about a lot of politics, but we talked about life stuff. No, we didn't just talk about politics. We talked about life. We talked about friends and family and travel. We talked about disciplines. We talked about so many things, man. I didn't even keep a list because I didn't know we were going to go down this road. I mean, we almost do this all the time, but I just never really assume that that's the way that our time will go. But I will say this. I enjoy being an uncle. I enjoy being a really good uncle. I enjoy being the uncle that's encouraging. I enjoy looking at a child's face. I mean, he's younger than me. He's not a child. He's an adult now. He's a 20-some-odd-year-old adult, young adult. But I remember being that age. I remember wishing and thinking, by the way, I'm 60, and I'm still wishing and thinking that I would have an uncle. I don't care if he was 80 or 90. You know, that's an adult, a male adult. I would even take a female aunt or aunt who I could look to. I could bounce ideas off. Somebody who wouldn't treat me like a moron. Somebody who would treat me with respect and say, you know what, I hear you. I totally hear you. And I want to help you by listening to you and also encouraging you, possibly indulging you, and so on and so forth. And let's make sure you make the right decisions. Let's make sure you don't make the wrong decisions. Not just make the right decisions, but don't make the wrong decisions. Don't spend too much. Don't spend too little of money and time and anything into things that aren't worth it. You know, spending the appropriate amount of time on things that are worth it. The things that stop you from quitting. A couple of shows ago, I talked about quitting, getting past the quit. And I would have liked to have had somebody in my life back in the day to help me get past the quit. I also would have liked to have had somebody in my life that just be a witness to the things I'm saying and doing, and say, you know what, great job, I see what you're doing. I acknowledge your existence on this planet. And that's basically what I did this whole week. I acknowledged this person's existence on the planet. I heard what he had to say. I gave him back feedback. I didn't judge him, except when I said nice things, like, good job. Yeah, you're right. You're smart. And he is. He's smart. He was right a lot. And he had great questions, and he had great insights. And I think the only thing one of the few things, if he needs to do anything at all, he should probably really start playing chess. And I think that's, for a lot of, as boring as that game is, and I think it's quite boring. But, it says Route 11 South, make a right. You know, I'm gonna pull into this parking lot. I got to check out to make sure I'm not going the wrong way. 487 North and 11 South. All right, let me, give me a second to look at my Google Maps. I'll be right back. All right. I had to interrupt the show because I needed to make sure I was going the right direction, because Route 11 sort of goes a little squiggly, and I didn't see it that well on the map last night when I was investigating. I often do that. I don't get as close, into the towns. I'm in Danville. By the way, what a beautiful little town. Danville, I think it's Danville, Pennsylvania. I just passed by the Bloomberg. I just passed by two interesting things. Bloomberg Elementary School. I don't know why it's called. Yeah, Bloomsburg, excuse me. Now I'm passing by the Bloomsburg Fair. Wow, the Bloomsburg Fair. It's like one of those Pennsylvania, fairs. Wow, I love it. It's America. I'm definitely in America right now. Anyway, and I'm saying that purposely that way. I'm in America. And I saw this. I was driving down this road. It's called Railroad Avenue. And I look to my left and I see a grandstand, like this huge. And they have Weiss Markets up here, Weiss, Weiss Markets. I guess they're bigger in Pennsylvania. They used to be in New York, but they closed down. And like you care. So I only know this because I'm a truck driver and I've seen these things. So tell us more uninteresting stuff, Dave. We'd really appreciate it. And I saw this huge grandstand, and then I see this fencing. I go, wait a minute. Grandstand, big black fencing with the barbed wire, and I see dirt. I go, is that a racetrack? That's a racetrack. How do I not know that I'm passing by a racetrack? I mean, come on, Dave. Get it together. You don't know that you're going to pass a racetrack? You're going to a go-kart store. And what happened was, it's a horse racing track. They might do tractor pulls, but I don't think it's a car racing track. It was the Weiss Grandstands, and I think it's the 5th Street. I think it was called 5th Street Racetrack or something like that. I was looking for a big sign. There's no signs. But it said Weiss Grandstands, like really huge up on top. And which they often do. They'll call the grandstand. So they're sponsoring it. I guess they sponsor it. But they look new. It looks really nice. And the fence looks nice. And I didn't know horse racing needed fencing. You know, I mean, how much dirt do they kick up? I mean, does anybody crash into the gate? Into the fence like a car? I don't know. Maybe they do race stuff there. But anyway, I saw the ticket window. So I drove in the parking lot with my... with the Caravan, and I didn't do a mileage report or a weather report today, but maybe we'll get to it before the 45th minute. And so that's why I had to stop the show. I had to make sure I was in the right direction. Now I'm on Route 11, going south. Apparently I got another 15 miles, which I thought that I had a lot of time. I didn't realize I was making this little squiggle. So anyway, I was talking about my nephew. I was talking about how smart he is and how much we talked. And the only thing he might need in his life, one of, a few things that anybody might need in their life, not just him, and it's not like he has a deficiency, but the way he was thinking, he's thinking ahead. He's got moves. He's thinking about cause and effect. He's thinking about, all these different things that even I, in our conversations, I didn't anticipate that he would think it. I didn't even know it was a thing to think, and I didn't it was a lot of stuff that I was the student. And not because I'm old and he's young, but because he's insightful. And he's thought about it. He spent a lot of time. He's not even a truck driver. He didn't look out the window. He actually just thought about it. He's smart. He's bright. He's instinctive, intuitive, or whatever. And I'm very confident he'll do well. Because but means, this is, and if he played chess, maybe, just maybe, he would do even better. He would have that edge, playing chess, meditating, having some religion in him, morals, all these different things, a proper upbringing, Mustang Sally's, Gentlemen's Club. I just passed Mustang Sally's. I can't believe there's actually a Gentlemen's Club here on Route 11 called Mustang Sally's. That's fantastic. All right. I love back roads. I just love it. I really do. 11 South. I'm having a great time. And I hope you're having a great time, too, riding shotgun with me as we drive through Pennsylvania. The weather report, it's gray. It was raining earlier in New York, and now it's just gray. But it's still beautiful to me. I'm not affected by the weather. I'm not like, it's depressing. No, it's great. I'm having a great day. I'm having a great time. I had a great week. So what did we do? We talked, we ate, we cooked, we ate. I cooked, he ate, which is fine. I liked cooking for him. He ate everything I made. He loves meat. He's into meat. I made pork. We made steak. Made a lot of steak. It was a lot of food. We ate a lot of food. He drank beer. I had some. I broke my my carnivore of no alcohol. I just did it to be social. I didn't have to have it. But no, I wanted to, I didn't want him to drink alone. I didn't want him to drink at all. Anyway, he has a high tolerance though. He's a good drinker, and well, you got to be careful when you say that. Like, what does that mean? Well, that he can drink more? Yeah, I guess he can. He'll figure it out. He'll figure out how much are his limits and all that other stuff. So whatever. He didn't get buzzed. He didn't get drunk. He always maintained intelligence. He maintained coherency. It's hard. I don't know anybody really in years. I don't remember the last time I hung out with anybody for as many hours as I did while he drank and was with me and maintained coherency, maintained integrity, maintained courtesy, maintained sensitivity and passion and intelligence. It was great. It was amazing. It was like having a friend, a good friend, one that doesn't judge and look down at you and then hog the conversation by making it all about him. Like my energy vampires, my depleters, Midway lanes. What is that, like 10 lanes? Wow, bowling alley, 10 lanes. Anyway, so yeah, and we went and we shot guns. Yeah, for the first time in my life. The first time we went and we shot, I don't know how many rounds of, I think it was a 22 millimeter and 9 millimeter. I think we used a Ruger, which he picked out. Apparently he knows about guns a little bit. He's been studying. We went to the counter. The lady said, which one? This one, or that one? He goes, I'll take the Ruger. I didn't even know he knew. I thought we were just going to learn together. But he knew. He said, I'll take the Ruger. What? I looked at him like, what? Yeah, the Ruger. I was like, what do you mean the Ruger? Like, you know? He goes, yeah, I want the Ruger. I said, okay. I didn't know you knew. I thought you didn't know. I thought you never did this before. It doesn't mean you can't study. So he hadn't done it, but he studied. He's been reading. I don't know. He got information somehow. Good for him. It made me feel better. Like, oh, he knows. So he's not a total newbie. You know, he had an idea. Good for him. I'm happy. And we shot. And then we took a day off from shooting. It was good. Fun. It's fun to shoot. Target. We shot targets. I posted pictures on Facebook about my targets. I did good. A little bit high and a little bit to the right, but my grouping was tight, which was interesting. I didn't know I could shoot, but I can. I'm a lefty. It changed things just a slight bit. Maybe, and anyway, it's not about me. It's about being an uncle. It was great. I gave him an opportunity. Took him out to the shooting range. Safe shoot. That's what it was called. Safe shoot. 1 word, 2 words, I don't know. It's in Kingston, New York. Safe shoot. Other safe shoots across the country? I guess I don't know if it's a franchise, but there's probably a whole bunch of them all over the United States, and they're called different things. But safe shoot sounds like a great name for a place that you're going to shoot safely, and especially for the first time. So, and there was other people there shooting bigger guns, louder guns at targets right next to me in the stall next to me. You know, so I've been in stalls before where guys are dropping bombs. These guys were shooting bullets, which was much more pleasant. And everybody was patient and helpful and courteous and all that good stuff. You know, the ladies at the counter and the person on the phone and the guy, Norm. We get the guy Norm. He's the gun guy who's at the range, and he's the one that, you know, if you have any questions or if you have a gun jam, you know, he was there. He was good. We had Norm, and then we had, I think, Tom or John. Don. D-O-N the second day. He was okay too. But, you know, he had that sort of sarcastic look on his face like, oh, newbies. Ugh. But Tom was, the first time, Norm was great. So anyway, yeah, so we went, then we came back 2 days later, and then I'm going to mess this up because I don't remember. I asked my nephew 1,000 times, and I can't remember. We either shot an AR-15 or an AK. I think we shot an AK. I don't think we shot an AR because that's an assault rifle. AK, the K stands for some guy's name, I think. What does it say here? Welcome to Danville. Okay, now I'm in Danville. I was in Bloomsburg, now I'm in Danville. Pennsylvania, Route 11 South, headed towards Penn Creek, Pennsylvania. I should be there in about a half an hour. And we're getting close to 38 minutes. We just passed 38 minutes, and we'll go to 45 and we'll be done. Another 45-minute show. So, so it'll be a show. It's a good show called Uncle. I gave you a little background on my life, and now I'm talking about being an uncle. So, yeah, it was fantastic. We went back and we shot the AK-15, I think. If I shot an AR, I shot an AR. Dave, you don't know? No, I don't know. I don't care. I held it in my hand. I put the sight. I put the little thing in the sight, in the circle. There's a straight line. The guy told me, your target will be blurry, but you want your sight to be clear. And you want your sight in the middle of the circle, or you want your sight to be on top of the diamond. I think that's what he said. I know it had to be in the middle. You know, target, right? In the middle. But yet somehow, no matter what I did, my grouping, all the bullets were in the same general area. I didn't spray all over my target. We had that thug. We had a thug target, and then we had like milk bottle target or something. I have pictures of it. I posted it on Dave's. I might have posted it on the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. I'll probably tweet it out, and we'll see if I can get, in Facebook jail or something like that. Whatever. These. I don't know if you're supposed to talk about guns and shoot and take pictures and video. I have video of me shooting these guns too. So yeah, I'll put it on the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. How could I not, right? Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. And then we went back, we shot that thing, and that was louder, a little bit more, what is it called, a recoil or a pushback, whatever it was. It didn't hurt my shoulder, it was fine, no bruises, and then I had air protection that I wear for the racetrack or wherever, and then at my job, and then I had, the little plastic things I put in my ear, and drag races, I always wear them. And then they give you have to it's mandated, mandatory. You have to have eye protection and you have to have hearing protection, which I did on top of the hearing protection. And I tell you what, when you have hearing protection on top of hearing protection, you can't hear anything. So there you go. By the way, did I mention that if you don't want to type, you don't want to engage with Dumbing It Down with Dave in the Spreaker chat room, if you can't because you're listening on another platform, nobody has messaged me that they're listening on a different platform. So I assume that my 3 to 5 listeners are all listening on Spreaker. And I encourage that because I make a little bit more money if you listen to me on Spreaker. I'll make $11.15 as opposed to $11 if you listen to me on Spreaker as opposed to another platform. So you can call. If you don't want to write or type or whatever, 347. That's the Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline. 347-388-8487. 347-338-8487. Yeah, it's pretty easy to remember, right? It'll be in the show notes. And 347-338-8487. And leave a message, 30, 60, 90 seconds. I don't know. Just keep it clean. And if I like it, it pertains to anything, I will download it and put it on the show. But the longer you make it's harder for me to download. You know how it works. You don't want to put too much data out there. Anyway, so there you go. Of course, tweet me at Done With Dave and email me at dumbingitdownwithdave@yahoo.com. And what else is there? Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. Go on Facebook. Talk to me there. I'd love to hear from you. And all right, so 54 east and west, left and right, Route 80 to the right. It doesn't say anything about staying here for Route 11. I assume if I stay here, I'll be on Route 11. I'll go to Google Maps when I stop the show. And so it was great to be an uncle. I hope that this week made a difference in his life. I do. I hope it made a difference. In my point in life, when I was 21, if I had this week, it probably would have made a difference in my life. If he had questions that needed answered and I answered them properly, then I made a difference in his life. And I hope I made a positive difference in his life because he had a male role model that he could talk to and ask questions. And the male role model said intelligent things and didn't judge him and encouraged him and indulged him maybe a little bit and fed him. And we had steak. We didn't have sugar and cookies. We had real good red meat, fatty red meats. And I hope I strengthened his brain. And I know he was thinking all the time. And it was great. It was great to see the wheels in motion. And all that. And I never had a moment I went, wow, this guy really is, he's naive. No, he wasn't naive. He wasn't sarcastic. He wasn't any of those things that I'm used to by most men and boys, for that matter. And I really was encouraging him to move upstate, live on my property, in my camper. If I had a bigger house, he could have a room. He could go to school by me. He can get a job by me. And we could do a lot of things together. It'd be a lot of fun. Chopping wood and chainsawing and shooting and all that good stuff. We could do a lot. Anyway, there you go. So it was good to be an uncle. I enjoyed being an uncle. It was a good 4 days. And now I'm back to being Dave's Fit Life, and all that other good stuff. Don't forget, this is episode, I think, 326. 325 was Riding Shotgun with Dave Canyon. 325. That's a good episode to listen to. Or 324, Eat Like a King, Feel Like an Olympian. Or 323, Getting Past the Quit. 322, weigh-ins are on Fridays only. Hey, if you had an uncle or an aunt, and whether at that age, at any time of your life, or now, or whenever, who would it have been, and what would you have wanted them to say? What would have you wanted to say? Give me an idea of a relative, of a friend, of a situation. I like these shows where I ask you a question, and then you come back. And I hope it's Linda, and I hope it's Hal, and I hope it's Lynn, and I hope it's anybody and everybody that listens to the show. Tell me about somebody in your life that either you influenced or influenced you, whether it be negative, whether it be positive. And by the way, there are no limits to the amount that you can contribute via Spreaker, via Twitter, via email. If you can't get it all in the Spreaker chat box, go ahead, do an email. But don't overdo it that you don't do it at all because you feel like you're not being sufficient. I love the engagement. It's always great no matter when you engage. So do that. Mileage report on my Dodge Caravan. No big deal. Not like the Kia Rio. Kia Rio will be back on the road soon. 130,388 miles in the Dodge Caravan. And there'll be a lot more. And then in a couple weeks, I'm going to Florida. So I'm going to Gainesville for the Gainesville Gator Nationals. Gainesville, Florida. All right, 45-minute show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really greatly appreciate everything you do. See you next show.